Jamie paints a vision board with the man of her dreams and her solo art show in Paris. She starts thinking that man is Michael Herman, but her childhood friend, Max, confuses her. Jamie asks her students at her art studio, Canvas Creations, to have fun with their paintings. She asks them to pour their hearts out and not focus on the results. Jamie feels some people don't know what's in their hearts. She is sure art is the best way in which they can express themselves. She bumps into a man outside her studio and visits another location she's planning to expand to. Her parents, David and Debbie, love the space too. Jamie already has a vision of what they can do with the space. It seems ideal for Jamie's second location for Canvas Creations, and David is already planning to expand further. David retired last year, and helping Jamie with expansion is something he seems very passionate about. Jamie watches her best friend, Ava, being madly in love with her partner, Tom. They feel it's the magic of spring, but Jamie remembers them being so in love in other seasons too. Ava thinks it's time for Jamie to start dating again too. Since it has been a year, Jamie wants to change the subject. She discusses the space she thinks is perfect for her second art studio. Ava reminds her that she was supposed to do Canvas Creations on the side, while she painted primarily. Ava doesn't think Jamie will have time to paint if she keeps expanding. The Cherry Blossom Arts Festival is in 3 weeks, and Ava has learned the venue is shifting to Botanical Gardens. Ava is the head of the Special Events Permitting Office and will work directly with the organizers. She offers to put in a good word for Jamie for her submission in the Emerging Artist Showcase. Jamie hasn't submitted anything yet because she hasn't painted in a year. She is tired of the constant rejection and watching other artists win the prize in a solo show in Paris every year. It's her dream, and she claims to be happy for them, but she feels it won't happen for her. Ava gets an idea and drags Jamie to a crafts store to get some supplies. Ava wants to get Jamie a poster board and reminds her about the rough patch she went through 4 years ago. She used to hate her job as an event planner and had no dating life. Ava reminds her that she then heard about the job at the Special Events Permitting Office and met Tom a month later. Ava claims she made it all happen and changed her luck with a vision board. She took action and went after her dreams because the vision board helped her realize what she wanted. Ava knows Jamie can agree as an artist that images are very powerful. She thinks with a clear vision of what Jamie wants, she can work towards it. She buys the supplies for Jamie despite her protests and walks her home. Ava informs Jamie that she rented out her unit overnight to her brother Max. He will now be Jamie's new neighbor. She knows Max drives Ava crazy, but she needed a sublet, and Max doesn't stay long anywhere. Jamie doesn't let Max hug her and remembers he was in San Diego last. Max has been to a lot of places after that and came back for a temporary job Ava got him. He has a master's degree in landscape architecture, but wants to work as a groundskeeper at Botanical Gardens. Ava informs him that Jamie might be displaying her work there at the festival if she vision boards. Ava hopes Jamie will warm up to Max after seeing him around all the time. She jokes about how she can draw a picture of Max moving away on her vision board. Max hands Jamie his stuff and asks her to help him get it to his apartment. He feels Jamie is still the same with paint in her hair and claims he loves that about her. He invites her over for beer sometime, but Jamie is in a hurry to run away from him. He brings Jamie the collaging supplies she forgot at his place, but she closes the door on his face before they can talk more. David has the lease from the real estate agent for the second location and explains they have a week to decide. He wants Jamie to think about it and be sure, but Jamie already knows she wants to sign the lease. Jamie tries to avoid Max in the hallway, but he comes out at the same time for a run and joins her. Max has noticed she's avoiding him and asks what he did wrong. She reminds him of a lifetime of jokes and pranks at her expense. She feels every time she's around Max, she gets hurt or humiliated. She remembers the time in 3rd grade when he nicknamed her Smelly Man, and it stuck through high school. He then wrote her love letters for a year to make it look like she had a secret admirer. He tries to explain that, but Jamie feels everything is a joke with him. He reminds her they're adults now and hopes they can start over. She trips and he catches her, but they decide to be cordial and be running buddies. When he asks about her paintings, she insists she's focusing on her art school. When he wonders about her dating life, she pretends she forgot something and runs back home. Ava asks about how it's going with Max, but Jamie is not too happy. Ava reminds her to vision board to chase her dreams, but Jamie feels like her dreams might be changing. Ava asks her to still figure out what her dreams are through the vision board. She suggests Jamie can paint on the board instead of collaging. Ava remembers how she asked herself what she wanted and focused on it every day till it came true. Ava is also about to meet the curator of the Cherry Blossom Arts Festival, Renee, and wants to put in a good word for Jamie. When Jamie looks at Ava's vision board, she gets inspired to start painting again. Renee thanks Ava for expediting the permit for the botanical gardens. Ava knows the festival means a lot to the town, and the gardens will be the perfect venue. Renee points out that the Herman Arts Foundation is close to it, which is also a few blocks away from Jamie's art studio. The head of the foundation, Michael Herman, was wondering if he could get painting lessons from Jamie's studio. Ava informs Renee all about her, who explains to Michael that she has heard great things about the studio. Ava has arranged for a private showing of Jamie's artwork with Renee. Jamie submitted all her best work last year and doesn't really have anything to show. Ava notices she's painting again and loves the vision board she made. Jamie has painted winning a solo show in Paris, and the man she loves congratulating her with a pink rose. She knows this might not actually happen, but thanks Ava for making her paint again. Ava encourages her to finish the painting because she's sure her dreams will come true. Jamie and David sign the lease, but Jamie explains she can't celebrate since she needs to paint. Michael asks if Jamie takes drop-ins, and she invites him inside. He thinks it's a class for children and plans to leave, but Jamie asks him to still join and starts teaching the class about compositions. Jamie thinks Michael is doing great for a beginner and has captured the light perfectly. She still thinks his painting looks too controlled and asks him to let go of expectations and enjoy the process. She gives him another canvas, but he ends up making something similar. He knows he needs more lessons and fixes a time so they can do it privately. Ava teases Jamie about having a date, and even Jamie admits Michael is very handsome. Max joins them so they can buy supplies to renew their garden. After the purchase, Ava informs Jamie when Renee will drop by. She wishes her luck for painting something new and leaves. Max offers to walk Jamie home, but she makes an excuse about going to the farmer's market. He tags along there too and wants to discuss about how Jamie is painting again. He claims to be a big fan of her artwork. He reminds Jamie how she used to paint things in their yard for hours when they were kids. She informs him about the new location for her art studio, but he wonders how she will have time to paint. He asks her to commit to her art, but she doesn't want advice about how she should live her life. Max claims he follows his heart wherever it takes him. Jamie has heard that he has been through many girlfriends and cities over the past few years. Max thinks there's nothing wrong with trying to figure out what he wants if he hasn't yet. He feels Jamie is lucky because she always knew she wanted to paint. Jamie paints her vision board all night till Ava brings her coffee in the morning. Ava feels Renee will love it, but Jamie intends to display a few old landscapes for Renee. Jamie explains she started seriously painting when she was 15, after which she did art school and an MFA. Renee thinks she's very talented, but she's not feeling any emotions. She thinks Jamie is playing safe and asks if she can look at something else. Jamie still claims she doesn't have anything else, but Ava informs her about the vision board. Ava claims the painting is from Jamie's new series about dreams. Renee loves the vision board and thinks it's heartfelt, bold, and exactly what she wants. She asks Jamie to submit it for the festival, and Ava is sure this is because of the vision board. David has already started making plans of how they can use the new space. He has a lot of time now and knows Jamie is occupied. She assures him her undivided attention after she makes the submission to Renee. Jamie is sketching in the gardens where Max works. He teases her about not getting enough of him. Max has spent 4 days at work, which seems like a commitment to Jamie. He compliments her art and loves cherry blossom season. He claims he thought about this time whenever he was homesick. While Jamie is impressed with their color and composition, Max likes to think about how these flowers make him feel. He relates the flowers to life, which is perfect and still filled with uncertainty. He remembers the solo show in Paris has been her dream, and reminds her they have known each other for 24 years. She knows it's cliché, but he feels it doesn't matter if it's her dream. When she's leaving, Max suggests she can bring her students to the garden. For Michael's first private lesson, Jamie wants him to paint glass bottles. She feels it's tough to replicate the shades and tones, which he already knows about. He used to paint when he was young and dreamt about being an artist. He wanted a more stable career eventually and hates getting messy. She flirts with him as she wipes off the paint from his clothes. She suggests he should display something for their spring show. Jamie explains that she left painting for a year and got back recently. She has something different she's working on, but can only show it once it's done. Jamie discusses Michael with Ava and is excited about them meeting again. She thinks he was about to ask her out, but left because of a phone call. Ava asks her to think about the art studio expansion. and what she will do if she gets the solo show in Paris. Max is glad Jamie listened to him and got her students to the garden. She reminds him of all the bad ideas he has had over years and doesn't want to give him credit for it. He asks her to come to the rose garden for a tour when she's done. He shows her their next project at the garden, after which they will start planting. Jamie is confused why Max isn't applying for the landscape architect position when he has a master's in it. Max thinks it's a lot of responsibility with the managing and coordinating. He prefers being a groundskeeper and planting flowers. He also doesn't know how long he will stick around, so doesn't want to commit to it. He thinks life is about adventure and passion, and doesn't regret not committing to anything. He has heard about Jamie's vision board and a dream man from Ava. He asks what he's like, and she starts explaining that he will be perfect and humble. Max keeps joking about how he sounds like him, but Jamie ignores him and continues to describe how this man will be kind, passionate, charitable, smart, and love the arts. He thinks many men match this description, but asks her to figure out how she feels when she looks at this man. Michael drops by her studio and asks her out on a date the next day. He gives her a flower that perfectly matches her vision board. She tries to not freak out about it, but is sure the vision board man is Michael. She doesn't see the logic behind these similarities, but Ava feels love has no logic. Jamie laughs when she gets a text from Max. Ava is curious because that was a different kind of smile compared to the ones she has seen. Jamie claims she's just getting along with Max because Ava asked her to. Max shows Jamie the setting of the Cherry Blossom Festival and challenges her to a bike ride. They tease each other, and Jamie feels weird since this is more of a date activity. He asks her to think of it as two friends cycling, but also asks about her dating life. Jamie was sure she was going to marry her ex. She admits he broke up because he thought they lost their spark. She was heartbroken for a long time and thought relationships need more history and compatibility than a spark. Now, she also thinks he was right, because they both would have been settling for each other. The breakup was hard because she was single at 29 and questioning everything. That's also when Max remembers she opened Canvas Creations. It was supposed to be something she did on the side, but has become her main plan now. She learns Max isn't dating anyone either, and is surprised how fun this day was. She needs to leave to meet her dad, but suggests getting ice cream like they used to after bike rides when they were young. She remembers the last time she biked. It was around springtime when he pulled the secret admirer prank on her. His last letter claimed he will reveal himself close to the bikes. She was very excited and waited for hours for him. Max tries to explain, but she feels it's fine since they were just kids. She finds it funny that she liked her admirer and felt he liked her too. She was mad at Max when she found out, but still kept the letters since they felt special. She asks where he got the material, and he claims he wrote it for her. When it gets awkward, he claims he thought about the look on her face when he wrote them. Jamie calls Renee to let her know she'll turn in her painting the next day. Michael comes to pick her up for their date and takes her to the Music in the Parks event. It looks just like her painting, which freaks her out more. She also learns that he heads the Herman Arts Foundation, which is sponsoring the Cherry Blossom Festival. She informs him she's submitting a painting and wonders if it's a conflict of interest. He assures he doesn't judge the showcase or influence the outcome in any way, but he will still be at the judging, which makes her nervous. She informs Ava about who Michael is. Ava is also surprised she didn't make the connection before when Renee mentioned him. Jamie realizes she can't display her painting. It seems to be of Michael handing her the rose in front of the colonnade that looks exactly like the place where he took her on a date. Ava realizes that is bad too, but claims she still has 5 days to turn something else in. Jamie apologizes to Renee, who reminds her she will have to give the spot to someone else if she can't turn the painting in on time. Jamie visits the site of the second gallery. Debbie informs her about how hard David has been working. Jamie feels bad about not pitching in. Debbie knows David understands it's a hectic time for her and asks about her date with Michael. Jamie thinks he's perfect, but she feels something is missing. She doesn't feel fluttery with Mitchell and hopes things will make more sense on their next date. He is soon taking her to an art show opening. Debbie asks her to not force herself into something. Max turns up at Jamie's place with an extra bath of cookies he made. He is excited to see her painting for the showcase, which is currently a blank canvas. She explains that her last painting didn't work out, so she has to think of something else. Max asks her to follow her own advice that she usually gives to her students. Jamie claims she usually tells them to focus on the feeling and have fun. He puts paint on her face, and she retaliates with more paint on him. He stops her from throwing all the paint on him, and they realize they're too close. Jamie feels she should get back to work and thanks him for the cookies. Michael wants to introduce Jamie to some art curators, but she feels she has nothing to show them. She claims there was a hiccup with her last painting, and she's also focusing on franchising. He thinks that's a great idea because it's a steady source of income. He feels it doesn't matter if she doesn't paint because it's better to live with a certain future. Since he stresses more on backup plans than her need to paint, she feels he's not right for her. She admits she tried to make this work, but she doesn't think they're a right match. She finds Max still working on his night garden, who is glad to see her. He asks her to wait outside his apartment. He brings her cherry blossoms and his microbrew for her inspiration. She replaces his cherry blossom with Michael's rose and starts painting her new piece. She paints all night, and her dad reminds her they were supposed to pick paints in the morning. He understands that she has to work and wishes her luck. When Max brings cupcakes for Jamie, Ava and Tom notice a vibe between them. At Jamie's spring show, she reminds the parents how talented their kids are. She and Max discuss a painting, while Ava and Tom notice them again. Michael drops by, and Jamie excuses herself to talk to him. He has come to display his glass painting because he wanted to put himself out there. He admits he likes Jamie and wants to have a future with her. Max asks about Michael, and Tom lets it slip he is Jamie's dream man. Ava explains she didn't want to tell Max about him because he has had feelings for Jamie since they were 15. Now that she has seen Jamie interested in him recently, Ava and Tom think he should confess his feelings. Max invites Jamie for dinner at his apartment after the show. She is impressed by how nice his apartment is and his cooking. He's making French food so she doesn't have to wait till Paris for it. Jamie has no idea how to cook, but Max brags about his skills. He mentions seeing her with Michael and asks about them. Jamie explains that she went on a date with him, but ended things. She doesn't know why, but Max is glad to hear it. Max admits that he wasn't pretending to be her admirer because everything he wrote was true. He wanted to tell her that day at the bikes, but he chickened out when he saw her there. He admits that 15 years later, he still has feelings for her. Jamie claims she has had a great time with him, but is worried about him. She feels he will have a new interest next week and run off somewhere else. He assures her he's not the person she thinks he is. He now feels like someone who still wants to be with her, so Jamie asks for some time to think about it. Jamie can't decide the color for the new studio. She admits to Debbie that she wants to paint again and wants this business on the side. She's too afraid to tell David because he's too happy about setting everything up. They have put a lot of money and time into this place, but she knows she doesn't want to open a studio just for the sake of it. Jamie shows Renee the painting she finished this morning, and Renee loves it a lot more. She promises to get it delivered that night and joins Ava. Jamie explains that she ended things with Michael because she's falling for Max. Ava also feels Max doesn't commit to anything and doesn't want either of them to get hurt. She feels Michael is more suited for Jamie because he wants a future with her. Ava also thinks the vision board with Michael has to mean something. Jamie thinks the vision board made her realize that she drew what she wants, but it's not what she needs. Ava invites her for dinner that night and claims it can be a double date as Max will be there too. Max joins Ava after Jamie leaves, and Ava tries to tell him how much she loves him, but she doesn't want him to ditch Jamie after a month or two based on his track record. Ava thinks Max never took anything seriously because he never thought he had a chance with Jamie. Now that they know Jamie likes him too, Ava feels she should be with someone like Michael who can commit to her. Jamie wants to show Max her painting before she submits it that night. He makes an excuse about work and suggests that she should be with Michael. He feels she deserves someone who can commit. She reminds him she didn't ask anyone to commit. She thinks Max is still scared of commitment and wants to run away the moment things start getting real. She feels all his talk about following his heart is just talk. She makes it clear that she feels humiliated and hurt yet again, all because of him. Jamie comes home and paints over her submission with a clear image of Max as her perfect guy. Renee informs Jamie that she has given her spot to someone else, since she didn't submit her painting last night. Jamie runs over to the second studio and informs her parents about her current situation. She feels even if she doesn't get her show in Paris, she wants to keep painting in her future. She feels bad because the expansion was her idea, but David claims he knew all along she wanted to paint. He is glad she realized it, and they wanted her to figure this out on her own. He feels happy about doing all these renovations because it gave him a reason to get up in the morning. Jamie asks if David would be interested in running this business himself with her as a consulting artist. He loves this idea and is glad she will be painting more like she loves. Even if Jamie has lost her spot in the showcase, she feels she can still start over. Jamie gets inspired and starts painting from scratch again. She brings her submission to Renee and asks her to take a look. Renee loves the new painting, but knows she can't put it in the showcase since she gave the spot to someone else. She still feels she can display it somehow and asks Jamie to find out later. Jamie explains to Ava that after talking to her, Max lost interest and broke it off. Ava thinks it's her fault and explains what she told Max. She claims she had good intentions, but Jamie finally understands that Max backed off because he thought Michael was the best for her. Jamie tries to explain to Ava that she knows she and Max don't make sense, but she feels it's where she is meant to be and gets the same feeling she gets from her paintings. Ava promises to not meddle anymore and knows Jamie will make a great aunt. Jamie is excited about Ava being pregnant and has a lot of questions, but they both know she needs to find Max, and Ava informs her he's in the gardens. As Renee starts announcing the winners, Jamie finds Max talking to someone. He's in the middle of a job interview for the landscape architect position. The woman interviewing him feels he's more than qualified, so he can have the job if he wants. Max explains that he's staying because he doesn't want to regret not committing and trying everything to be with her. He tries to kiss her, but she asks him to come with her for her painting first. Renee shows Jamie where she has displayed it. She asks Jamie to have a chat with her after the festival about a group show. Max loves the painting of her and is glad she took his advice of committing to her art. She feels he's irritating, but he reminds her she's still smiling. They finally kiss in front of her painting and the cherry blossoms.